ShamWow.
Alright, ShamWow, this is just for you.
ShamWow.
And
Wait,
so is
stop,
this
I have to
cow.
go to the bathroom.
Should I put this cow in there for her
Yeah,
too?
get the cow in there.
This is Kelly Roemmich here, daily vlog number 1.
Calculus.
All right,
Calculation.
back to-
5.
Back to the video. Alright.
You just took all my trash.
Alright, so we did the long method. There's 4 of them on the test for tomorrow. Okay, and we did, if it says find the tangent to a line, you find the derivative, plug in the slope, and then find the point. Okay, another question could say this. Estimate the instantaneous velocity at t equaling 3. Okay, and then they give me an equation here, which I'll write down. Okay, and the equation is s of t equals 3t to the third plus t. Okay? So again, instantaneous velocity is the what? What's the theme of this test? The derivative. So what am I finding on this problem? The derivative, correct. So what would my derivative be?
9t squared.
Yep, so 9t squared plus 1. Okay, and then how do I
Plug
find?
in 3.
Plug in 3. So once I have that, then I take my 3 and I plug it in here. So 9 times 3 squared plus 1. So 9 times 9 plus 1, which gives me 82. So 82 would be my answer on that one. Questions on that?
No, we have to go now.
That's it.
Is there going to be like measurement? Like you have to like meters or something?
The velocity here is probably meters per second, I would
Or we
guess.
have to put
Oh,
that
that's
on there?
quick.
Nope, if you didn't do that, then no.
Okay.
Pretty fast, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know what it is actually, so. Okay, then I'm gonna give you a problem like this. Okay, it'll be a curve. Okay,
Wow. Okay.
I'm gonna pick points here. We'll call this
Hashtag hump day.
A, B,
Disfigured hump day.
C. We'll call this. I'll go down here actually more. D. Okay, I'm just picking random points. Okay, I need you to put, so the directions will say list points A, B, C, and D in order of increasing slope of the tangent line. Okay? So we're going in order, increasing slope. So on a number line, what's the farthest to the left?
A.
A negative, right? The biggest negative on a number
Yeah.
line. So you got to look at the tangents. So you're then gonna have to draw in lines. So that slope would probably be like this. This slope would be downward. What's this slope look like it's at?
Straight.
Straight. And then this slope would be like that.
DAC.
So which one is so left to right, we'd start with negatives, right? Which ones are negative slope lines?
You sure
B.
it's negative?
Which ones here are negative slope
D.
lines?
D.
B
B.
goes downward, right?
Oh.
So B would be my starting one on this problem.
And then would you do the,
Then I'd go with
C.
C, because that's like a 0 slope here, right?
Yep.
So then C, so I'd be at negative,
oh, I got
and
you.
then I'd be at a 0. And now which one looks like it's going to be a steeper slope, A or D?
Why is
D.
this?
D, so which one would be the last one then, and which would be the second to last?
D is the last.
D is the last, because that's the steepest, that'd be the biggest rise over run.
Increases.
And then A,
Back.
Wow, what are you,
there we go.
are you done?
So this would probably be like up, maybe up 1 over 1. this looks like it might be up 4 over 1. So you see how in order this is negative 0, 1, and 4? It gets bigger, it's increasing as we're going. So you're just gonna have to draw the lines and figure out what's the smallest, okay, and what's the biggest. Now again, let's say I had, instead of C, let's say I don't have C. Let's say point C is gonna move to here. So at this point, my slope is here. How many negative
That one's
slopes?
first.
How many negative slopes do I have right now?
2.
2. Which one's the steepest of them?
B.
B would be the steepest, so B would still be here, but now, and actually my C would stay there, but it's less steep, so it's less negative. So this would be like a negative, if you think about it, this would be like a negative 4 over 1. This would maybe be like a negative 1 over 1. So negative 4 is the biggest slope, so it goes negative with the biggest slope, negative with a little less slope, positive with a little less slope, and then positive with the biggest slope. Questions on that?
No.
Alright, let's go to the next question. Okay. So now it says use the given position function to find the velocity and acceleration. Okay, so I'll have S of t equals negative 16.2 t squared minus 10 t plus 3. Okay, so I need to find the acceleration and the velocity of those.
Isn't acceleration like two derivatives?
So velocity would be the first derivative, and then acceleration would be the second derivative. So you take the derivative of the derivative. Is this coming back to us?
Ooh, yeah.
Wait, what? Say that again.
Velocity is always the first derivative of that function. Then acceleration is the next derivative, so it's like a double derivative.
What?
So velocity equals, what's this gonna give me? That times 2 is
Negative 32.4.
32.4 t minus 10. So that's my velocity, and my acceleration would be the derivative of this again.
Negative 32.4.
So negative 32.4 is going to be my acceleration. So you just went derivative, derivative, and it's the next one. Questions on that? Okay, what if the next question using this information says find the ball's velocity and acceleration? So using this information, now it'll say find the ball's velocity and acceleration. So find the ball's velocity and acceleration at t equals 2 seconds.
You just plug it in.
Plug in the 2 there, yep. So then what would I get? So velocity equals 2 times this, minus that, so it'd be negative
78.
78.8,
Oh, hold on.
74.
Yeah.
74.8,
Yeah.
okay. And then acceleration would be what?
It's the
Negative
same.
32.
Negative 32.4. There's nothing to plug in, so therefore acceleration, we're at that speed, constant. Questions on that? All right, and then these last 4 problems are just power rules. So if we want, we can maybe do some of the long ones again so we know how to do those. Give me some numbers, ready to go.
4.
10.
16.
20.
30.
Oh, God. 20.
456.
No!
X plus
Oh, no.
Okay,
What is like 10?
find the derivative of that function. So four
no.
of these questions are literally, it says find the derivative and you just do the power rule.
Oh. Okay.
Is there gonna be ones where we have to do multiple? Like derivatives?
No,
Wait, we're not doing like product
Just
roll
the-
or?
no product or quotient rule. This is the only one that you'll do multiple ones on, the acceleration and velocity.
And do you want us to do this on the long way or?
Absolutely fantastic.
Nope, the only ones that I say on the test, I will write,
Long way.
long way. Or there's one that has a square root on it. On that square root problem, you'll have to just know that you can't do it any other way other than the long way.
So happy.
And then conjugate.
Conjugate, yeah, you have to do that on
Square
these
root.
longer ones. We'll do some more of those, I think, today, because these four aren't gonna take 20 minutes, so.
Twenty-four minutes.
No funny. All right, so we got what, 40x to the 9th plus 320x to the 19th?
Four, it's 4D,
What?
right?
40.
Yeah,
Yeah,
4DX.
40.
40x.
On
to
the first one.
Oh, is it supposed to be a 40?
40.
No, 4 times 10, right?
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
what I
there you
have
Okay.
40x to the 9th, yep.
Yeah.
How's that correction there? Hopefully if somebody's colorblind, they can't even see my mistake right now.
Chambray's not cold.
Shoot. Okay, I didn't mean that chambray like
Shoot.
that. Shammy! Okay.
She's gonna be like, what is going on?
She's gonna be actually reacting to the video.
She's
Give
laughing.
that a like,
she's-
Chambray.
she's
Subscribe.
She's laughing right now at her house, like she's rolling over, crying right now. 'cause
It's
so
12
funny.
at night and she's dying.
Yes. Shammy, take a couple breaths. You're gonna be
Chambray, don't
all right.
forget we have an economics or government test tomorrow.
Yeah,
Oh,
good
Yeah.
luck.
It's either tomorrow or Friday.
It's
So-
probably tomorrow.
Is that what your answer was then?
Yeah.
Okay. So now that's the easy one, I think. Then I'll give you one like this. Find the derivative of this function. X 5 halves minus 2x to the third plus 3.
Ew.
Okay, find the derivative of that.
Okay, basically, now that's not. What?
Is it open?
Okay, so how do I find this? I would power rule it. So 5 halves x to the minus 1 would be 3 halves. And then minus 6x squared, and then the 3 drops out.
Yes.
Professionals?
Sure.
Okay. Next problem. We got f of x equals, let's go, x to the 5th minus 3x squared plus 2 all over x.
Oh.
Yes,
I thought you said this wasn't on the test.
it's not.
What the
Oh,
heck?
really? Man.
You don't have to do quotient rule, you can simplify this nice and easy right away.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, is portional?
No,
Okay, I
No.
was gonna say I'm not doing it.
don't make it easier by splitting that up, right? 3 fractions,
What?
Three fractions.
with an x on the denominator of all 3.
To the x
What?
to the fifth
What?
power over x, and then negative 3x squared over x, and then 2 over x.
What? That's not what I did.
Yeah.
Light blue. Yellow.
So then, to simplify that, before we do the derivative, would be x to the 4th minus 3x plus 2. What happens if we want to move this x upward
-1.
to the negative 1? Okay, I've done no derivative though, I just separated that fraction to make it nicer. Can I then do a power rule on this?
Yeah,
Yep, so then do the power rule now.
no, you got that wrong, don't you? Oh, no, never mind. I had her.
4x to the third, minus 3, minus 2x to the negative 2, because you minus 1 always on that degree. Questions on that? Alright, one last one of these, and then we'll do a couple long ones so we understand how to do those. I think you guys know how to do these. Let's say I have 3 over the square root of x minus 5 over x squared. Find the derivative of this. Again, before you do the derivative, if you move everything to the top, you can then make it one line. And again, the exponents will turn to negatives. And move them from the bottom to the top. Still work? Yep.
No
Good.
issues.
Except the big
Well,
crack.
I don't know.
Okay, so on this one then,
Grab
to find the derivative, distributes would be negative 3 halves, x to the negative, subtract 1, so 3 halves. And then negative and negative here make a positive 10, x to the negative third. So then that would be my derivative of x. Questions on that? Alright, let's do 2 long ones. And we're gonna do a fraction one and we'll do a square root one, because I think those are the harder of the 3. So let's do a fraction here. Let's do find f of 3 for f of x equaling 5 over x plus 2. Okay, so there's my function. I want to find the limit. So it's the directions say use the limit definition the long way to find the solution.
Where are you putting the 3 in?
Yep, so I put the 3 in for the x in that formula, correct.
The 3 and 3x.
Can I just put this formula on the board? I'm gonna just do that. That's the only formula I need for the test, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys see it from over there? I'll put it over there, sure.
Gosh.
That marker. that formula?
Yep.
These.
Sure.
Yeah, 3.
Okay, so I'm gonna put a 3 in this formula here and a 3 here. And then I'm gonna get 3 plus h is gonna plug in here. Okay, so we got 5 over 3 plus h plus 2 minus, and then I'm gonna do the same thing here.
Plus 2, not plus H.
Yeah, let's do
Where at? Oh yeah. Okay, and then minus 5 over, and then 3 plus 2 gives me 5, which what's 5 over 5?
it. Whoa, whoa,
One.
whoa, whoa, whoa.
All over h. I'll just write it simplified in the next one. So it's the limit as h goes to 0. 5 over 5 plus h minus 1 all over h. Okay, what do you gotta do on the top of my fraction there? Get a common,
What did you do?
Denominator.
so right here, I got that from taking this f of 3 and plugging 3 into
Oh,
here, 3 plus 2. And then that gave me 1, and then it's a minus because the minus is in the formula. Okay, so this 1 I'm going to do actually a fraction. What would the common denominator be? 5 plus h on top and bottom. So I turn that 1 into a 5 plus h on top and bottom. Because that's what this denominator is here. If, it would have been 1 over 1, but then you multiply by that, and 1 times that gives me that. Thing I gotta remember though is this negative goes to the negative 5 and to that h. So 5 minus h over 5 plus h, and then we got h over 1. Okay? And I always said that the back cancel, right? So did the 5 and the negative 5 cancel? Okay, and what do you gotta do with a fraction divided by a fraction? Reciprocal, so 1 over h. And now can these h's cross cancel? So I'm left with a what on top?
-1,
Negative 1 on top over
5 plus 8.
5 plus h, and it's the limit
Mhm.
as h goes to 0. So now if I plug in a 0 here, my answer would be negative 1/5. Okay, questions on that? Alright, we'll do one more here, the long way. We'll do a square root. So same directions, find the derivative of f prime of 2 for f of x equaling the square root of 8 plus x. Nope, not 8, 7. 7 plus x is my function. So I plug my 2 plus h in the first one, and just a 2 for the second, which would give me the square root of 9 plus h minus square root of 9. What's the square root of 9 turn
Three.
into? 3, all over h. And its limit as h goes to 0. Can I plug in a 0 to the denominator right now?
No, so you gotta do conjugate.
The conjugate's correct. So this is where I do my conjugate. Should be a plus 3 then, right? When you FOIL this, does the first and the last matter? Sorry, the first and the last do matter. Does the outside and the inside matter?
No.
No, the first and the last do. So just first times first. What happens with the square roots on those? Cancel, so it's 9 plus h minus, and then 3 times 3 would be 9. And what do I always say? That backside will always do what? Cancel with something in the front. And then what else happens here?
H's.
H's can then cancel after you've canceled those. Okay, so I get the limit. As h goes to 0 of, what's on top then? 1 over square root of 9 plus h plus 3. And you plug in a 0 here. Square root of 9 is 3, plus another 3 gives me 6. Okay, and this here, it would be the derivative. What's another name that we use with derivatives? Slope. What else? Instantaneous
Velocity.
velocity, wasn't that another one? Where's that here? Instantaneous velocity, so velocity would be the first derivative.
And then.
Acceleration's the second if you did it again. Okay?
Can't.
We can't on that one. And then again, it's slope of a tangent line. Okay? Instantaneous velocity stands for derivative. Okay? You want me to do anything else here for today? We got, what, 5 minutes, 6 minutes? That's the test. There's 4 of the long ways. 2 of them will be square roots. So the 2 problems with the square roots. 1 won't say it, but it's the 5th problem if you want to remember that. It'll talk about a tangent line. Okay, it'll give me, you'll find the derivative. Here's my slope. How would I get a point out of this if that's my slope?
Plug your x into the.
Yeah, and the x would be the 2 here, right? So I plug my 2 into here. So it'd be 2 comma, what would that be, square root of 9? 3. So now you have a point.
Point slope.
Yep, and then that's my tangent line, on the ones that say tangent lines. Is there any other questions, or is that
We're good to
good?
go.
Alright?
I actually feel really good about this one.